Okay, welcome everyone. I'm Cindy, so I'll be your host today. So before we get into the main event of this whole entire Tauke Talk session, I would like to just go through the agenda for today's session to get you acquainted of what to look forward to in this whole entire session. So first of all, I'll be going through the guidelines, so rules that you should follow throughout this whole session. And then we'll move into the introduction where we get to learn a bit more about Jian and his business, Sisen Studio. And then we'll move on to the sharing session where we'll be learning more about Jian's entrepreneurship journey and also his story as well. And a Q&A session is where we'll be answering any pre-submitted question or any question you might have throughout this whole entire session. And then a closing is where we'll be telling you about the next Tauke Talks that we'll be having next week and also our current entrepreneurship program that is going on. So just a kind reminder, the guidelines are, please make sure that you stay muted and make sure you turn off your cameras at all time. If you have any question, please do leave it in the chat. And if you're chatting in the chat box, please be reminded to use respectful language at all times. Yeah? All right, without further ado, let us start. Welcome everyone to Tauke Talks, a series of sharing sessions where small but mighty business owners share about their motivation to start their own business and the story behind their journey. This whole sharing session is actually brought to you by RYSE, a Malaysian research and social outreach project that empowers Malaysian youth through entrepreneurship, and RYSE is supported by Citi Foundation. So we here believe that entrepreneurship, is not always about the big companies or big startups that have been supported by high technology, but also for small and mighty business such as Sisen Studio, right? So RYSE aims to showcase, hopefully through Tauke Talks, all the stories of these small local businesses that are still persevering and chasing their dreams despite the circumstances. So I'm happy to welcome our guest for today, Jian from Sisen Studio. Hi, Jian.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to this interview. So yeah, maybe just let me briefly introduce myself. So my name is Jian. We actually are a media productions company. As you can see, we have a very good portrait photos. So if you need portrait photo, you know who to find. Just kidding. Anyway, actually we are really basically mostly about photography and videography. So we have 4 partners here. We have Will Wong, Hannah Pang, me, Jian, and CK Core. So there are 4 partners in this company. 4 of us are photographers and videographers as well. So we tried to team up last year. I tried to ask them to come up together because basically before we start up Sisen Studio, actually 4 of us are from 3 different companies, like own companies, something like that. Yeah, but at the end, after I get know to them, and then because of MCO last year, and I try to figure out like how to survive in this market or how we can do this better in long term, in long run. So I invite them and we founded this Sisen Studio. And as you can see, the first photo is this wedding photography. Actually, because 4 of us, we started on for wedding photography as a main. Okay, but after that, because photography and videography is basically in most of the events or in company use, commercial use, there are also some usage for it. So we try to divert our field in photography and videography in different kinds of field. For example, before we start up Sisen Studio, right? For me, I always wanted to do pre-wedding shootings. But actually, pre-wedding shootings is something not alone you can do it. You need a team. You need to organize like the makeup, the style, the how to say the locations and all this. You need a lot of manpower. So after I set up this Sisen Studio, right, we get to shoot our first pre-wedding. So it's one of our achievement to divert our service into more different kind of service. And as well as we actually provide shootings for like mentality shoots as well, which is the next photo. Yep. And if you guys notice, this is the very famous Ipoh YouTuber, Wei Hong. yeah, it's our honor to invite him to shoot this mentality photo as well. And as you can see in this photo, actually this we shoot it in our studio in Ipoh. And this little studio, we might be moving into a new studio coming up, because current studio, we rented it together with others industry. So it's like co-rented together. Yeah, so we are planning to moving into a whole new studio in coming days. Yep. So, and as you can see from our founder list, right, we have one female photographer. So as I mentioned previously, the main purpose to team up Sisen Studio actually is because each of us has different kind of strength and weaknesses. And one good things about women's female photographer will be her patience towards newborn. I'm not meaning that I'm not patient enough. It's just that, you know, being to a newborn, actually, you need to be very careful. You need to be very gentle, and you really need to know how to make the baby sleep, which is something, you know, I think female has some advantage on that. So that's why actually my partner's Hannah, she is specialized in newborn photography. Yeah. So, so as you can see, right, from weddings, from pre-weddings until weddings, until mentality, until newborn, actually we kind of provide a kind of service that, you know, from start to the end. So actually, this is one of my purpose to team up also, because we hope to serve customer, you know, not like, oh, my customer like my shootings, like my service, and he find me, Jian, hey, do you do pre-wedding? And before I started Sisen Studio, I will say no. Then maybe I only can serve them on wedding shootings. Then after the wedding, he said, Jenna, do you shoot mentality? Oh, sorry, I didn't do as well. So, so I don't want to lose my client on this. So in order to maintain my clients and provide a full kind of service, I team up with CK, Hannah, and Will. So next, as you can see, right, because there are a lot of weddings that has been cancelled, has been postponed because of COVID and because of this MCO stuff. So actually we tried something new, because previously we didn't really have this kind of commercial portrait, professional image look shooting before. But after that, we try to invest some lighting equipments, and then we try to have this kind of shooting as well. So this is some of our client last year. So we can try to have more different kind of variety of service as well. Yep. And the last pictures, which is this what we call a product photographies, and videography, we have it as well. But you know, as photography, you can see that we provide as well, because actually this is the main purpose that why I want to create Sisen Studio, because like this kind of food photography, like if you shoot it alone, trust me, it's very, very difficult, because you need to adjust the lighting, you need to hold the camera, and then you see the middle, the photo, we have the fork with the chocolate, right? So you really need manpower to do this kind of shooting in order to make it really, really look good. You can't really do this shoot alone. Yeah, you maybe can, it just require a lot of different kind of efforts and things to shut it up. So actually, this is why I do this Sisen Studio. And if you want to see more, actually, we do videography as well. So you can go to check out our social media as well to see our productions and other kind of works. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing about your business. So if you guys are in Ipoh after the whole FMCO is over, need some photography help, you can always find out more about Sisen Studio via their Facebook or their Instagram. So you can go and check them out via that.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I'm sure Janda is happy to, you know, talk to you and then make your dream of having a good picture about your newborn, your wedding come true. Right. Thank you so much for sharing about your business. Now we'll go into more of learning more about your entrepreneurship journey, right? Or how you started this business in the first place. So Jana, can you share a bit about what actually inspired you to start your own business? You can tell us a bit about your background. You know, did you study photography? How did you stumble upon the photography? Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So maybe you guys, I give you guys 5 seconds to guess like what I study in my university. There are a lot of people when they ask me, Jian, what you study previously for your degree in university. So previously I studied in Utah Kampa, and there are a lot of people that maybe mentions, PR or marketing or entrepreneur or business or some things, like that. But actually, I study IT.
Wow.
My background is business information system, which is the IT course. All right. So I'm 30 years old this year. I born in 1991. During my age that time, after we graduated from secondary school, right? Actually, there are not really much information. The internet is just starting to bloom up, but there are not much information on web or other places to, to really know what you want after you graduated from secondary school. I'm not sure here how old are the audience here, but if you same age as me or near to me, you can, I think you can feel so. You kind of lost after secondary school, and when you go to choose your degree in your university time, right, there are a lot of advice coming in, like from your parents, from your ima kuje, auntie, uncle, coming in. Oh, study accounting is good for money. Study finance is really, really nice, something like that. So basically at that time, I was completely lost as well. Why I go to Utah? Because a lot of my friends go to Utah, so that's the one of the reason. And because Utah is cheap as well, all right. But at the end, why I choose IT? Because actually that time I was quite, I will say, actually that time I started blogging during my secondary school time. And now we don't have blog anymore. We have Facebook to replace anymore. So, when I review all this guy, I know I'm old already, all right? But during blogging that time, right, if someone know blog, you can leave down a comment, all right? Your blog, right, from Blogspot, actually you can try to code yourself to make, to design your own blog to be more fancy. So actually I try to code myself, then I find some achievement, actually coding is quite simple, and I really can handle it. And that time I was really into computer, like I really play a lot of computer games and all this. So that's why at the end I choose IT, because I really don't know what kind of others kind of field or other kind of degrees I will be interested in. All right. But that time, that's the reason I stepped into IT field. But honestly speaking, when I study in second year of my degree, actually I really found out that IT field is really not suitable for me, because I'm kind of outgoing. So during university time, I'm not really focused on study, because it's really boring, to coding, for few hours, And then, so I joined a lot of activities. I joined a lot of co-curriculum. I become society member, society escort, and all kinds of this. And that time I try to, discover more new things, to learn more new things. And actually during that time, right, I found out something which impact my life and make me become who I am today, which is New Zealand working holiday. I'm not sure you guys heard about it before or not. Working holiday actually is a visa that allow you to go to foreign country to work and experience the life over there. And for Malaysians, we only have two countries to go to, which is Australia or New Zealand. And New Zealand is the easier way compared to Australia. All right. So long story cut short, after I graduated, I don't want to be in IT industry. All right. I'm kind of outgoing, as you can see. Also, actually, my first job is getting into a film movie making industry as a personal assistant. All right. But being as a crew and being as an actor or things like that actually is kind of a big difference. And when I step into like the society as my first job, the reality really crushed me a lot. To see when you see on TV and you really experience yourself is really totally different. All right. So And my second job, actually, I'm doing sales for some kind of manufacturing things. Yep, it's because I still don't like IT. I don't want to go back to IT. All right. So I try to survive through these two jobs. The first job, actually, I try to chase my dream, but I found out it's totally different from what I dream of. So I quit it. The second job, which is the sales job, actually, I kind of chase for money, you know, because there's a lot of money for being sales, right? But at the end, I kind of lost also because my I see my boss is so rich, but still kind of lost to me, you know, that I think there is meaningless for me to chase for money for my next 30 years of life, you know. And of course, I wouldn't say that I don't chase for money now. It's just that if completely just for money, right, I feel that kind of lifeless in some kind of point. So during that time, I was lost again because I don't know what should I do. And that time, New Zealand Working Holiday application just opened their applications. So that time, I just realized that, hey, I feel that I want to do it during my university time. So why don't I give myself a chance? Because this New Zealand Working Holiday, just give you guys some info. Every year there are 1,150 slots per year, and every year it grabs instantly. It's like so many people try to grab it. So I was just giving myself a chance. Hey, let's see, do I grab it or not? And because of working for 1 year, I got some cash with me, so I can fulfill this lah. So at the end, long story cut short, because this, if I talk, I can talk for 4 hours. But at the end, I get it, and I went to New Zealand Working Holiday. So there are a lot of new experience for me during this New Zealand Working Holiday. For example, stepping into a country that not Singapore. You say go to Singapore work. Actually, there is not much difference. But if you go to New Zealand, right, they are totally different culture. The language even is English, but they speak really dialect is different. They speak really fast. And you go to cinema, right, you can't see subtitles. So it's really good to practice your English. Anyway, I went to New Zealand Working Holiday for like 10 months. From there, I start my YouTube channel, and then I try a lot of different kind of crazy things. I jump up from the aeroplane, which is skydiving. I get on stranger's car, which is coach surfing. I get on stranger coach, which is coach surfing as well. So I try a lot of different kind of crazy and new things. All right. So after New Zealand Working Holidays, right, I came back to Malaysia, and actually, at the end stage of my New Zealand Working Holiday, I start to question myself, you know, like, oh, what should I do after I come back to Malaysia, right? This is very normal things, all right? So at that time, actually, there's something happened to my family members. There are some health issues and all these kind of things happen at that time. And so when I came back from New Zealand, right, I didn't start to work directly. I try to take care of my family members and all these kind of things. So because of and one more things I need to remark on is New Zealand, if you went there and you look at how they live their lifestyle, will be very slow, really slow, you know. It's not like in Malaysia or in Singapore. Okay, Singapore is faster than us, but New Zealand is really slow, you know. At that time of time, I learned from their culture and lifestyle is to enjoy life. It's not really about how would I say it? Because I went to New Zealand, like I work as labor force, you know, I try to pick fruit, I clean the factories, I work as like a cleaner, you know, something that I even you or I wouldn't do it in Malaysia, all right? But in New Zealand, right, after that, I realized something, which is there is no high and low for different kinds of jobs, you know, only the personalities that have that kind of low and high, you know. So that's kind of moment that made me realize that actually when we aim for really high money job positions and all these kind of things, but do you really enjoy it, or you really do it for the sake of the money? All right. So of course, you can choose, you can choose, I want money and or you want life, And after I come back from Malaysia, right, I try to not to make it so grumpy, but, because in Ipoh, right, any Ipoh lang, you can comment here if you're Ipoh lang, all right? But I'm pretty sure that even not Ipoh, maybe you're from Taipei or you're from some small city, right? There a lot of teenagers or youngsters will go out from small city, all right? Maybe in Ipoh, the most happening and the most people will go to is Singapore, all right, including my brothers, my siblings, or my friends. There are a lot of people going to Singapore. But one common things that you find out about them, not all of them, but some of them is, they will try to complain a bit like, oh, Singapore is lifeless, And then when he see my photos in New Zealand, he will say that, oh, Jenna, it's so good you go to New Zealand. Wow, so fun. I said, go lah, you haven't 30 years old or so, right? But, oh, cannot, one main point I want to point out here is not to say I'm having a good life, they're having a bad life. No, I'm saying that actually especially at this kind of moment, right? It's not like during our mother's time, which is money is really hard to earn or you can't really finish a school. Actually, nowadays, we are really lucky to be living at this kind of age, and most of us are living quite comfortable, not really, have to really wait. The family is waiting you to pay the debt or to feed them, So actually, we have a lot of choice, in life, and it depends on you whether you want it or not. Like living in Ipoh, the salary or the income will be low. That's for sure. You can't compare the rate of photography in Ipoh and in KL. You can't compare it. But there are always give and take in life. So let me just complete my little story there. So why I say until this point is because if you remember, as I mentioned, at the end stage of my working holiday, there are some health issue happens to my family members. So as you can see, right, I'm a super outgoing person. So my family or even myself, I didn't expect I will stay in Ipoh. I definitely will go KL or go Singapore and all this kind of thing. But during at that time, right, when I take care of my family members and I try to rethink and try to ask myself, like, Jenna, okay, what do you want to achieve? What do you want, in your life, in coming up in your life? And okay, that time I was thinking, okay, money is very important, right? All right, I was thinking money. Okay, money, and because of my family members, I was thinking, if I'm not with them, if they need me, then it's kind of horrible, right? It's kind of feeling really sucks, if you like maybe working in KL or Singapore, you can't take much leave on that. So this is things I need to solve, right? So I try to solve it. I try to think, okay, Jenna, do I have any specific kind of job that I really want to do? Actually, no, actually don't have. All right. And then, okay, for money, right? Okay, for example, if I work in KL, I can have 4K salaries. All right. So if I can really get 4K salaries in Ipoh, is that I solve the money issues? All right. At the end, I also earn one more thing, which is with my family members, to stay with them, living with them, to take care of them and all these kind of things. All right. So, and because New Zealand working holiday, I told you guys, I tried so many crazy things, right? So that give me kind of confidence, like, hey, jumping from aeroplane, you also tried before, what kind of things you were afraid of. So that's why that time I started work as sales again when I come back. But at the same time, I'm still continuing to do my YouTube, and I start to take on the photography. Actually, I love photography during my university time. My mother gave me my first camera as a hobby. So I try to take a lot of photos with that little camera. And when I come back Ipoh, and then I try to think up something that can help me to earn money, I was thinking why not? This is my hobby. I'm not really good at it, but if I love it, and I will try to. And during that time when I came back to Malaysia, is 2016. And that time, actually, internet and YouTube is already blowing up. You can find a lot of information online, like how to shoot, how to operate a camera, how to really, know all these kind of information, So that's the moment I started my photography journey. All right, from 2016, I start to shoot for free first, for friends or families. And then when I get some job opportunities, I start with low pay, maybe like 200, to shoot a weddings, something like that. I know, this is not spoil market. This is a newbie way, because you have totally no experience. To be honest, because I'm not learning from someone, I don't have any seafood for me to reference on. So I started like this, like 200, okay. I feel happy, you feel happy, then okay lah, That's not really about what spoil market lah, all right? So I try to do, and then after I do, I try to improve. Because when you really love something, right, you really try to passionate on it, you try to improve, like try to see how others do, and then you try to, hey, what is my weakness on? Why I shoot like this, not nice, people shoot like this, very nice, So you will try to do it. But that time I was doing full-time as sales as well.
Right.
But that permanent job, right, is just, I'm not sure about you. If you have this kind of feeling, then maybe it's time for you to rethink about your career. But that time when I do the full-time job, right, what I do is every time, every day I wake up, I go to office, I clock in, then I was waiting for lunch. And then after lunch, I clock out, then I was waiting to off my work. So there is no patience or anything about it. So I will think that if I want to do this job for the rest of my life, I will really bored to die, It's something like that. All right. So that's how I started my photography journey. And as you can see now, it's 2021. I actually just have like roughly 5 years experience in this field. But I'm not saying I'm the best, but I try to catch up. I try to catch up and try to, survive in this market. And after 2 years of MCO, I still survived until now. So I'm here to tell you there's nothing is impossible. There's will, there's way. I start from nothing. I start from a small camera. I start from phone and achieve to what I have now. It's still, I will say that it's just start of my journey, because to achieve in long run, right, as I mentioned before, we just started to shoot pre-wedding, we just started to shoot commercial, we started to shoot the portrait shot and all this. So there are still so many for us to learn. So that's why I team up with them. And just now I forget to mention, actually 3 of them has more experience than me. CK has like 10 years of photography experience. So one thing that I realized after I get known to them is most of them, they do being a shooters for other companies. They don't brand himself or themselves, which I think is quite pity, because they have really good skills. And so I try to get them up, and because our age is quite similar, so I try to gather them up and form up Sisen Studio so that we can achieve more together. Because I know that one person, you have limited time, and most important, like for example, right, because wedding, one day only can have one wedding, and I only can shoot one wedding. So that's why being team up actually is quite important as well. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing.
Sorry, because I think I talked too much.
No, I mean, like, it was a good insight, and it's a very interesting story of how you actually changed a lot in your path to become an entrepreneur. Thank you so much for sharing about that question. Which brings me to my next question, actually, because you talk about how you actually brought together the other 3, right, to make you guys one team. What were the challenges that you first started, and how did you guys actually overcome it? Was it hard in the beginning to combine 4 people and let everybody know that, hi, we are now, instead of being 1, we are now 4 under Sisen Studio?
All right. So actually, my honest speaking, when I start to team up, my motive and objective is very simple, because the market wouldn't be smaller because you team up. The market is still there. But if we gather together, we will be much stronger than just one person. The market sees us as, oh, you have 4 people now, so you can do more, right? for example, some small productions things we can do as well. So that's actually make us stronger. Okay, but of course, there are some obstacles and things will happen when we team up, because we have different kind of personalities, and because photography and videography is kind of art. We have kind of art personalities. So there must be a clash during our team up. When we meeting, we have different kind of opinions, how to charge client or how to shoot this kind of thing. Of course, we have quarrel, we have all this kind of thing. I think this is very, very normal, because you being coupled with someone, you also will quarrel, right? So actually, the most important thing is try to because there is no right or wrong in certain things. It's just that how you see this, how your perspective on this. So the most important thing to team up actually is to have empty heart, I would say, to get in all this opinion, to get in all this kind of interest, to make it to be one things that really benefit every one of it. Actually, there are a lot of things that happening, but we try to overcome it, because I think the main thing, the most important thing to have to be a team is to have a same goal. Like we want to make Sisen to be like the best in Ipoh. We want to, to make it the top. So that's the main thing. Then the other things that get into the quarrel actually just some small things that actually we can solve it. There's nothing we cannot stop. We cannot solve. Most importantly is we can sit down, communicate with each other, and then we solve it one by one. Then I think we will grow much more stronger day by day. Yep.
Right. Thank you for sharing about that. How about in terms of, did you guys face any issues of getting customers, or was it not as hard because already 4 of you come from different background and you guys already have your clients?
All right. Regarding this, right, because as I mentioned previously, my partners, they don't really do much about branding and marketing. I'm not to say I'm specialized in this, but I'm doing my own brand since 2016. So I have certain skills and knowledge about that. So that's why when we come up, I try to rebrand ourselves as Sisen to introduce to all the clients, all the friends, and all this. So basically, when we first started, actually we are booming in Ipoh, but due to MCO, there are a lot of our jobs get cancelled and get postponed. So actually now the crisis that we are facing now is how to let the people still remember us, like because it's been months that we don't have any jobs and we can't really, and like now, right, you post wedding, there are no people interested in wedding because they don't know when the MCO will end. So this is one of the crises that we are facing right now, like how to remain our company brand and image in people's minds, that so that people will think of us when they need photography and videography. That's one of the really hard thing to maintain, but we try our best. Yep.
Well, that actually touched on the next question I was about to ask you. But since you talk about
MCO.
how, since you talk about how you face that issue, can you tell us a little bit about what are you doing right now to help kind of like keep your brand alive?
All right. Actually, to be honest, right, like just now I saw an audience give out questions, which is how I get connected to influencer like Wei Hong, because actually I do YouTube as well, and in an event I met him and then we become friends afterwards. So actually Wei Hong, right, when he shoot the mentality photos is also one of the marketing things that we can do. Yep. So and to answer your questions, right, how to maintain this, actually, for private, for our partners and me, myself, during this MCO time, we can't shoot anything, because we can't operate. So what we can do is we try to improve ourselves by, going through some other photographer works or other tutorial on YouTube and all these things to try to improve ourselves for upcoming. For example, right, actually I can say one example, real life example is last year, during MCO, right, we can't do anything. So we give ourselves a challenge, like we want to shoot food photography, right? We want to start to shoot food photography. So we assign each of us, maybe Will and I will be shooting food videography, and CK and Hannah will be shooting food photography. And this is, we try to make it fun by, we try to give each other some difficult things to shoot lah, something like that. So as you can see, like the previous photo you show, like the chocolate actually is one of them. And then I shoot for a coffee can, the Nescafe, which is for the food videography. All of this is just for practice and for some, maybe you can keep it for portfolio as well. And what happened is after we shoot it, right, this year, at the beginning of the year, right, there is one agency came to find us to shoot for a project for Spritzer. And he asked me that if there is any sample he can see for food videography and all this. So I show him the sample I shoot for the Nescafe. But actually Nescafe is not my client. I told her as well lah. I say, this is my work. It's not a real client job. It's just that I try to do my skill and do my present to you how can I achieve if you find for me. So I give her, and then she get it, and we get the job for Spritzer and to shoot for Spritzer. And that's my first commercial videography job I get. So actually all these kind of things you really need to think like, do I have this portfolio yet? If I don't have, then I have to try. Have to try, even at your own house, even with limited resources, then you just try being creative. Or you can start to try to brand yourself in TikTok. If you can see TikTok nowadays, even though there are a lot of dancing stuff lah, but actually you can see some professional people that doing TikTok stuff, like dentist, doctor, or even lawyer. They try to give some creative advice with creative things. Then people find him interesting, he will follow him, So same as me, we can do some creative thing on, teach people how to use phone to take good photos. Nowadays, people with phones nowadays can take really good photos. So you can do that as well. It doesn't require very high requirement, right? You just need to show how we can fully utilize our phone. Like the front camera, the megapixel is lower than the back. So you try to use the back to have higher resolutions of your photos and videos. So of this kind of thing, you can do it during MCO because you can't wait to serve your client. You have to try to brand yourself, market yourself out, and try to prepare yourself for upcoming. Because during this year, after the MCO, right, I think it's around starting from March until May. These 2 months, actually, we are fully occupied with jobs. Yeah. So that's why you need to prepare yourself before the next battle. You can't be like, oh, when the MCO reopen, then you only start to prepare yourself. No, you can't really do that. You need to prepare yourself because you know what? This, yes, you can't really earn anything from now, but when it's reopened, the industry will need photography, the industry will need videography. That's the time when people come to you and you're able to grab it or not. Yeah.
Right. So that's a very good mindset that you guys actually have to prepare yourself for battle. I like that. That's very good. Right. Thank you so much for that. My next question is actually still on the pandemic side. With the uncertainty still caused, right? Like the pandemic, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. But when things get a bit better or when it's starting to open, how are you guys, the whole team, planning to actually help your business maintain from the business perspective? Like, how do you maintain, or are you guys planning to grow your business even bigger? Can you walk us through the process of, that?
Okay. So as I mentioned previously, we do plan to get into a new studio because rendered with other people, there are some uncomfortable things, or there are some limited things that we can't really do. So we're planning to get on a new studio for ourselves so that we can really do whatever we want and to get more projects and all this kind of thing. For currently, we still on this kind of this milestone first. We try to get our own studio, and for our next preparations or next planning, actually we do things. We will recruit more photographers or videographers or assistant to help us, or even some trainees, some people, the interns, internship, and all this to grow ourselves. Because as I mentioned, when there is one job coming in, if you have one person, you only can do one job as a creative person. And if we have more projects and more jobs, the more people that we have, then is the better we are. And my end goal for me myself is to, because wedding is a very tiring job, commercial job as well. It's really tiring thing. I'm in my 30s now. I still can fight. I still can work so hard. But maybe in my 45 years old or 50 years old, you ask me to hold a camera, maybe I'm shaking a bit. So actually my end goal is try to build our company, to provide this kind of fully service. And at the end, maybe I don't need to hands-on on camera anymore, and I can be like director, because like in a film shooting, right, there's director that giving all information, directions and all these kind of things to the others. So that's my end goal lah. But whether it's achievable or not is depends. I will try to work hard on it, because I think that you really need to plan furthermore, even though you are not really that successful yet, but you really need to plan like, okay, in this stage of my business, what should I do? And next stage of my business, what should I do? So that you will keep on, so that you will have faith in this business, right? You wouldn't say like, oh, the next 10 years, after 10 years, I will retire. Unless you really can make so much money in 10 years lah, but you still need to have certain planning. That's my end goal lah, I would say that. Yep.
So you yourself and your company have milestones to achieve in the future.
Yeah. But because we just founded like less than 1 year, so there are still a lot planning that we will keep going on with my partners and all this, because we are to be honest, before that I'm a lone wolf. I do all things by all alone. But after getting into my partners and all this, then I realized things are getting really complicated. To be honest, it's quite complicated to handle it. But I still believe that the more people, the more power you have, and the more things you can achieve. It's just that I need to, for example, last time I learned how to brand myself, but now I need to learn like how to manage people, how to make the teamwork is good. There is conflict, there will be, but try to minimize the conflict. Try to make everyone having fun and earning money at the same time. Yeah, that's the main thing. Yep.
Great. So my next question for you is, since it hasn't been long since you started your business, but I believe that every business have their own proudest achievement, even though they started a month ago. What would you say is Sisen Studio's proudest achievement to date?
I would say that actually, to be honest, right, our proudest achievement, right, is when our client leave down a comment or leave down a review in our page, or she private message me like, Jenna, thank you so much for the photos. I love it so much. This I think is the biggest achievement that we can achieve. Because to be honest, we still not so yet into commercial and productions and all this. So actually, we really focus on our tagline is capture the moments. All right. So actually, we really want to capture the best moment for you. So no matter it's during wedding or mentalities or other proposal and all this kind of thing, we want to help you to record all this stuff. And when our works is really satisfying, making clients really happy and joyful about our works, I think that's the biggest achievement for us, to have this. When I'm really happy, it's more than happy than I having like 5K pay job than a client that pay me 1K. And after that, she told me, Jenna, I love your work so much. Our whole family, especially when our whole family love it so much. Oh my God, that's really one of my passion in doing this photography job is this, because helping people to record down all this precious moment, right, is I will feel really honored to be the one to help you to capture and to help you to craft it to be so beautiful. That's one thing that really keep me from other 9 to 5 work. When I'm editing a photos or I'm editing a videos, when the feels kick in, right? The feels kick in, like to make it, oh my God, it's so romantic, right? That's kind of achievement is really some big things. Yeah. And because to be honest, because we are small productions in Ipoh, so we don't really get big projects like from in KL and Penang. We are really, the Spritzel thing is the biggest thing I ever got it, even though the pay is not really a lot, but we are really proud to have it because we are still new to it and we hope to get more of it, because actually shooting commercial and shooting weddings is totally different things again. So that's why, as I mentioned, we are just at our start of our journey because there are so much thing to learn about it again. So, but I'm feeling really confident, even though it's MCO. I'm telling my partners like, prepare yourself, because after MCO we will be very busy, because I really got confident in this field, and if we can survive and we can serve the best to our client, I trust that people are coming in without you even do marketing. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for sharing about that. I think I really like your positive energy and especially your mentality towards like, your it's about the satisfaction of the work and it's not about the money that
Yeah.
you actually get. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, the next question and my final question, so the next question would be, can you name one entrepreneur whom you admire and explain how they have inspired you?
Okay, there is one friend of mine. He's same age with me. His name is Tauke Talks. He is a founder of Finale Studio in Penang. Actually, both of us shoot weddings together previously. Okay, but he's from Penang and I'm from Ipoh. Why I say he inspired me the most is because he showed me that when you are passionate in something, or when you shoot something, or you work for something, right, you can really have a lot of creative idea, and you really can do a lot of different kind of things. Because I tell you this, right, because previously, like when we shoot weddings, maybe the morning sections, maybe we shoot from early morning, like 6 a.m. until 1 p.m. And this guy, I tell you, this guy, he shoot from 6 a.m. until 4 p.m. and then start again on dinner side on maybe 6 p.m. He rests only for 2 hours, And and when I shoot with him, right, and I see how he shoots, right, actually he is the one that really inspired me a lot, because he really tried a lot of different kind of things to try on when shoot a wedding. Because previously for my thinkings, right, I will be like, okay, weddings, there are some must shot. You must shoot the bride to standing at the window or having their rings and all this. We have an SOP to follow, But this guy, right, he's so creative, He tried to break out all the how there's what out of the box. I will say that it's a comfort zone, because that time, right, I was in my comfort zone as well, because I have a lot of client, but and I don't worry at all. But I shoot everything's like the same, But he is the one that showed me that, oh, actually weddings we can shoot it like this, shoot it like that, shoot it like this, and because sometimes we will feel that, oh, you only pay me this much. I don't want to work for like 12 hours for you, I only worked until 2 p.m. But actually this restriction you're giving yourself, right, restrict your creative as well, because you will like being a robot in a photographer, shoot everything the same and produce everything the same. So he is the one, that time I was feel like, I honestly speaking, I feel like, hello, you need to work so hard or not, people not really giving you so much, But now, now Finale Studio in Penang is one of the top, I will say one of the top 5 wedding videography in the industry. So when I see how he achieved that, right, actually he invited me to join Finale as well. But because mostly based in Penang and I'm mostly based in Ipoh. So that's why we didn't really make it together. But we still keep on have contact with each other and help each other as well, because we have really close connection with each other. And he is the one that really inspired me to do things differently, and don't afraid to be like, in Chinese is 吃亏. It's like don't afraid to give more. Even client don't really pay you that much. If you think that maybe this wedding, the venue is very nice, the romantic sense is very nice, the couple they can act a bit, then you really want to, give your best shot to craft a very, very good things for them. Then the client appreciate it, your work come out really nice. That is a win-win situations.
Right.
I think that's mentality that we should have. Do not try afraid to give more. You try to give every best in every job, and client will feel it, and your job will definitely, your works will definitely be different than to be consistently the same thing. And you want to improve, or you want to improve your price and all this, you must have given something to achieve that. You can't be like, oh, why he charged 4,000, I charge 1,000. You look at the work, then you know already how much you're willing to do this and how much he willing to give up. So how he market and brand himself until now become a top 5 is one of my role model to look at. And he's one that really inspired me. Yep.
Right, giving your all to your customer, and your customer will really see it, right?
Yep.
All right. So my final question. Oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, and one more thing. He's same as me. He went to Australia and then he came back to Malaysia, and he start from nothing. And you can see he achieved at this age and at this level is because of how passionate he is and focused he is to get into the business. Yep. Yep.
Right. So you don't have to actually specialize in an industry to actually start your own business, right? As long as you have a big passion and you're willing to strive harder, you can start a business in any industry you want, right?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So my final question I have for you before we go into the audience question, because we've received quite a lot. A lot of them are interested to know more about you. But my final question here is, do you think young people should start their own business, and why?
To be honest, it depends on different people needs and different kind of situations. As I mentioned previously, like nowadays, teenagers or even us, we have so much opportunities. You can basically do an online business on Shopee, on Instagram. I will say that doing business now is so much easier than previously. Even though the competitions is much more, of course, this is because of the social media and internet things, but I think this so much easier for you now to start a photography, because last time when we want to buy a full frame DSLR, it's like 10,000. Nowadays it's like 5,000. You can get it, even you get a second hand. So every cost, is getting cheaper. And how you want to start up the things, there are more informations on internet. How you want to you just type on YouTube how to start a business or how to SEO, the what again, I forget the name for the SEO, but try to make yourself brand out or how to market out yourself. There are so many things you can learn online. So actually it just depends on yourself. Do you want to start it or not? But of course, you need to really prepare and think well before you start, because starting is really easy, but maintaining it is really hard. You need to really give yourself because I don't want you to waste time I start, then I stop, I start, then I stop. That's completely waste of time. Try to ask yourself first what you want. What is the thing that interests you the most? Do you sell a sampa that to people say your sampa is very nice, then you will be really happy? Or you will be complaining that, I cook sampa very suffering. You need to try to imagine yourself or try to put yourself into this kind of situations first before you make the decisions. And then after you make the decision, you go all in for it. Don't because you need to know each of us have 24 hours is fair to us. why people can do better than you need to really think about it and you try to accomplish it. And of course, people can do so well, why you cannot? There is no way, there is no cannot one, because you have a lot of stories, especially in this kind, in this talk, you know, there are so many stories, people start from nothing. So there is no reason for you to fail, you know, but even you fail, right, there are so many things you can learn from it. Like why I fail, why there is something wrong I did, marketing I didn't do right, or I'm not passionate enough. I didn't update my things passionate enough. All right. So because when you start a business, right, it's not hard. It's just that how you consistently put up the things and make it satisfies for your client. You know, like your packagings and all this. Like for just a very short example, is my girlfriend. She lost her job last year because of MCO, because she worked in event industry. Then I tried to, and she gave me a gift last year, you know, just a very short story. Yeah. She gave me a gift last year for my birthday, right? It's this photo frame. Okay, just a very simple things, you know, it's just a cartoon, you just cut it and all this. Then I encourage her because she lost her job and at the middle of looking for another job. So then I encourage her to start a business. I try to help her to put it on Instagram, put it on Shopee and all this. And I try to, you know, Instagram nowadays, you boost a post is so simple. You just throw in 50 ringgit and then you just click a boost and then people will start noticing you, you know. And of course, you need to look at the demand also. Like, do people want it, or in the market, is there any competitor? You need to really do some research before you start it. Because I noticed the market, there is not much people doing this thing. So I think that my girlfriend has the opportunity. So I try to ask her to do it. And the last Father's Day, right, she received like 50 orders in one day. And she even asked me, Jian, can you stop market? Yeah, I can't finish it, you know, because this requires a lot of hard work, because you need to cut it, you need to place it. There are a lot of hard work on crafting. So she even asked me to do that. So that's why I really think that is not hard, you know. I'm not studying marketing. I'm not graduated from PR, but as long as you're willing to learn and try to because nowadays we go on social media a lot, you know, including myself. All right. But so take an advantage on social media. People saying social media is bad when you waste a lot of time on it. But it depends how you use it. If you use your social media to follow, like for me, I follow some photographers, I follow some entrepreneur, or I try to search for something I want. Actually, it benefit me, you know, to see the current market trend, to see like what the people doing nowadays to make money. And when you notice from there, right, then you can really learn up something from that, you know. So my advice is to be honest, to know what you want actually is most important one, because if you go to Singapore, you earn 3 times money than here, then you don't complain lifeless lah, you know. And there's I will say give and take lah, everything. So most importantly, know what you want. And for example, if you really want to go to Singapore, it's not a bad choice. You know, you really earn a lot of money. But ask yourself, you want that kind of life? Do you enjoy it? Do you satisfied with it? Or you actually can do better thing in Ipoh, or you can have other choice in KL or Penang, nearer to Ipoh. So ask yourself this, because I find out that a lot of people didn't ask themselves. They just follow, they just go for the money. And then after they work for 5 years in Singapore and then come back Ipoh, then they lost again. Then, you know, I wouldn't say that it's a bad choice, but try to ask yourself what you want. Then only you go for it. I think it will be really better for you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing, and thank you so much for your insight, Jian.
No problem.
We will now move on to the Q&A, because I think you shared a lot about motivation. No, it's great. It's great.
1 hour already. All right, okay.
No worries. I think the chat has been blooming since just now. Everybody is finding your story very, very relatable. And thank you so much for being very raw with us and telling us your story, and even sharing about your girlfriend. Thank you so much for that. Now we'll move on to the first Q&A session.
Yeah.
So someone asked, Junwon asked, he said, thank you for your sincere sharing, but he wants to know, how do you know you will work well with your 3 other co-founders? How did you find out the synergy, and what would be your top advice for someone who are thinking to find a partner in a startup?
All right. As I mentioned previously, at first when I start to find them, I don't really think that's so complicated. You know, I really think it's so simple. We gather our power, become Power Rangers. You know, to top up in the market. That's my objective. That's what I think. But of course, now I really do give a bit of advice that knowing your partner first before being a partner actually is better. Okay, it's really better because to be honest, I'm not really close with them. All right, but they know each other quite well. I'm the one that not really, but I am the one that pull them up together. Okay, pull them out together, and then of course, actually there are a lot of problems because when you expect something, but maybe that thing is something you expect out from nowhere. You understand what I mean? Maybe your partner is not really capable on this, but you think he's capable on this. Then if you come up with conflict because you try to assign the job for him or her, but he can't do it, then you will feel like, oh my God, why you can't do that? So there will be conflict, of course. But so that's why what advice I can give in is first, you try to know more about your partners before you guys partner together. Like, try to know her strength, try to know her weakness. Like, you guys also can discuss first before being a partner. Like, can we assign different role? Like, can you accept this role? And can you do this kind of job? And you know well about this before you being a partner. That will be saving you a lot of conflict after you team up. All right. The next, if you really team up before you really knowing each other, all right, trust me, there are a lot of conflicts. But as I mentioned previously, try to, especially when you maybe, I'm not saying I'm a leader, but you being like someone that is more leadership a bit, you really need to get yourself like an MP heart to take in all the advice and all the perspective, you know, to try to make it around, you know. In Chinese, we say, make it 圆滑, do the things more, how to say, we spike is the conflict. We don't want a spike. We try to make it to circle.
Move all the edges.
Yes, move all the good. Smooth all the edges, you know, to make the things work, you know. So I think that's my advice for that. Yeah. Anything I lack off?
No, I just wanted to know how you actually found out about them, or how do you actually meet them?
Oh, because actually we are in the same industry, right? So as I mentioned previously, when I'm a lone wolf, I'm either doing photography or doing videography. All right. So during some weddings, I meet them, I know them, and then we get in contact, and then we know each other. And 3 of them are really good friends, by the way, all the time. So that's why after that, because I have more job inquiries, then I hire some of them to become my shooter as well. So that's how I get along with them. Yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing about that. Junwon also asks, what does Sisen mean?
All right, yeah. So if you are someone who know to read Chinese, right? Sisen actually, the Si is mean 4. All right, Si is mean 4. So there are 4 of us. All right, actually it's very simple. There are 4 of us, and Sen, right? If you look at the Sen, right, for the Chinese word, there are 3 woods in it. 3个木, 3 woods in it. So actually it means it combined 3 companies together. So that's why I come up with Sisen. All right, that's how simple it is. And because we try to find a names that is good in English, in Chinese as well, because we don't want it to be really Chinese based, that people can't really speak out how to pronounce it. You know, like my name Jian. Most of my teachers call me Jian Li, because le is word in Chinese. There is no le in Malay or English, you know. So my name is one of the example. So we try to find it, and then Sisen is it can be pronounced as season as well. So actually it's quite, when we come up with this name, then we feel like, oh, it's quite good, you know, in terms in Chinese and in English is looks so good, then we just use that. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. I hope, Junwen, you now understand why they call themselves that. In the comment section, they're quite excited about your name as well. Yeah. All right, so now we'll move on to the next question from Shafika. She asked, how do you prepare your client before capturing the photo to make the situation less awkward? Because she said that she find it quite awkward having a stranger capture her photo.
All right. Honestly speaking, actually, a lot of clients I met are very awkward and very, you know, of course, we are people, you know, I feel awkward to be a stranger, to meet a stranger as well. So actually being a photographer or videographer, right, actually you need to be the one that, you know, guide your client and customer, you know, to make them feel more comfortable. So actually what I do, my tips is actually before the shootings, actually I already get in contact with my client, right? So actually I do chat with them a lot. I try to get more information from them. For example, like their house, how their house look like for the weddings, how the ceremony preparations goes well. I even give some advice because I shoot like more than 100 weddings already, you know. So I even give some advice from time arrangement or the brother sister gaming time and all this. So actually I talk a lot with the couples or the clients that before they shoot, you know, so that we become a friends. Sometimes you don't treat me like a photographer or videographer, you treat me like a friend who having fun with you during the shooting time, you know. So actually, as you say, we capture the moment is our tagline. Of course, there are some posing that we will require client to do to achieve some good things, good posture, good photos, good video and all this. But there are some moments also we also try to ask our client to act more naturally, like play with each other. We just at the side, you this thing, we are invisible, we just take something. Or, you know, they can talk with each other sometimes, then we just at the side to try to take some more naturally photo for them, you know. So that's one of the tips I can give lah, because there is no way can solve this unless you make your client is comfortable with you. But one thing I found out is quite hard to do this is because of MCO and this COVID. Why? Because I'm wearing a mask. When I'm wearing a mask, right, I kind of hard to express my feeling with my clients, and it will become a obstacle between us. So it's a bit hard during wearing mask lah. But other times I will try to make fun and you know, I will tell them, client, you see, you smell like this. I want you to smell like this, okay? Then you let them, you know, oh, okay. Or ask them, you look at the mirror, you see, you smell like this. Oh, cannot, you smell better like it. Then try to compliment the client and all this. Then they will be feeling much more better. I wouldn't be like, oh, client, come, shoot. No. I will try to adjust their positions. In that way, right, I get close with my client. Then I try to make them feel comfortable with me.
Right.
Not standing very far and instruct them, you know, like that. Even though sometimes their position is correct, I also go up with them. Okay, you do this like this, you know, just to make them feel comfortable. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for answering their question.
Yeah.
I think that's the end of all the audience questions. Thank you so much for your insights, Jenna.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
That was Jenna, everyone, from Sisen, sharing about his experience at Tauke Talks, brought to you by RYSE and supported by Citi Foundation. I think I really learned a lot today, and it has been a very interesting story, and learning about your background and learning about how you end up being in Sisen today. And what really I can see and learn from today is that your outlook on life and also your outlook towards starting your own business and being a business owner, having what you say, an empty heart to accept criticism or accept any opinions. I think that's all. A lot of us should have that as well. So thank you so much for sharing. So if you guys have enjoyed this session and you'd like to find out more about Sisen Studio, who knows, you after the whole FMCO, after COVID is better, you would like to go down to Ipoh specifically to get your photo taken, please go and check them out via Facebook or Instagram and enjoy their service as well. All right.
Yeah.
So if you're interested and you are interested in Tauke Talks now and you want to join more Tauke Talks in the future, our upcoming Tauke Talks is with Adrian from Circle Pack that does eco-friendly packaging or containers to overcome our now increasing amount of need to go out and tapao food or takeaway food. All right. If you're interested, please go and sign up for his Tauke Talk session. And if Jian has inspired you to start your own business and you're interested to find out more about entrepreneurship, RYSE is currently having a program called RYSE Online 2021, which is a free online course on the basics of entrepreneurship. So if you're interested, you can sign up now, and the course ends on 30th July. And if you're a Malaysian aged 18 to 28 years old, you get a chance to win seed funding up to 10,000 ringgit to start your own business. So if you're interested, you can sign up now via the bit.ly link or find out more about the course through our social media. So if you want to talk to us, talk to the RYSE team, or you're interested to find out more about RYSE and Tauke Talks, you can go and check us out via our social media, via Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And thank you so much, Jian, once again for being a part of Tauke Talks today.
Thank you so much for inviting, and thank you everyone for staying up with us. Yeah, thank you so much for supporting.
Thank you everyone for being here. Have a good night, and we'll see you in the next Tauke Talks. Bye.